Gadadara Hare Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 4, Chapter 2, Text 31. We have been reading the purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So we continue reading. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is established, Tene Brahma Hreda, the Supreme Absolute Truth, the Personality of Godhead, instructed Brahma in the Vedic knowledge through his heart. So the first canto, first chapter, first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva immediately establishes who is the absolute truth. And he gives some of the primary characteristics and secondary. And then he says, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. This is the first chapter, first canto, first verse, very beginning. Srila Vyasadeva establishes that the Vedas are spoken by Krishna to Lord Brahma within the heart of Brahma, through the heart. Therefore, the evidence that Vedic knowledge is free from the defects of mistakes, illusions, cheating, and imperfection is that it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Janardhan, and has thus been followed from time immemorial, beginning from Brahma. We can see any thesis or any knowledge which is given to us by any human being, any man or woman, how long does it last for? And how many people read it, study it, for how long? But we see the Vedas, since time immemorial, not only the human beings on this earth, but even the demigods, they have been following the Vedas. Why? Because it's spoken by the Supreme Lord himself. The Vedas are beyond any mistake, beyond any imperfection. They're spoken by Krishna himself. The Vedic religion, or the principles of the Vedas, have been followed by the highly cultured population of India since time immemorial. No one can trace out the history of Vedic religion. So the Aryans were the one who would study the Vedas, the cultured people, and not only study it, but apply the principles of the Vedas. And that's why before the society would be Vedic society. Therefore, it is Sanatan, and any blasphemy against the Vedas is calculated to be atheism. So if anyone does not believe in the Vedas, means indirectly saying, oh, I don't believe in God. And so that becomes atheism. The Vedas are described as Setu, which means a bridge. If one wants to attain his spiritual existence, one has to cross an ocean of nations. The Vedas are the bridge by which to cross such a great ocean. So we are the eternal spirit souls, and we are right now in the material world. But this is not our permanent home. It is a temporary place. Dukhalayam ashasvatam. Temporary place which is full of miseries. Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita. Now, how to get out of here from this temporary material world to the eternal spiritual world is being said. Prabhupada is saying that the Vedas are the bridge, because the Vedas are giving us the knowledge. They're giving us knowledge of who we are, how we should act in this life, so that we can go back home, back to Godhead. So that's why they are being called a bridge by which to cross such a great ocean. The Vedas describe how to divide the human race into 4 divisions according to quality and working capacity. So the Varna Sharma Dharma. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 that this Varna Sharma Dharma is established by him according to Guna Karma Vibhagasa. according to the nature and the karma. Based on that, it's not based on birth. It became the Varna Sharma system became degraded into the ordinary caste system. But that's not how Krishna had originally set it up. He set it up according to our nature, what modes of nature we are in, based on that, and according to our work. So he put us in, he's created these 4 divisions, Varna and Ashram. No one can stop the system of Varna and Ashram or the castes and division. For example, whether or not one accepts the name Brahmana, there is a class in society which is known as the intelligent class and which is interested in spiritual understanding and philosophy. So Prabhupada is helping us understand that this Varna Sharma is not artificial and it cannot be stopped. Why? Because our nature, how we are influenced by the modes of nature. It's based on that. It's not based on any birth. So the example Prabhupada is giving is there are certain class of people who are interested to cultivate spiritual knowledge. And that is one of the duties of the Brahmanas. So even though we say there is no Brahmana in this Kali Yuga, but there are certain class of people who are interested in this. Similarly, there's a class of men who are interested in administration and in ruling others. In Vedic system, these martially spirited men are called Kshatriyas. So there are, like there's a war going on currently, people are fighting, so they have that Kshatriya spirit, although they're not being called Kshatriyas, or the administrators of the country, the government, all that is the Kshatriya spirit. Similarly, everywhere there is a class of men who are interested in economic development, business, industry, and money making. They are called Vaishyas. So when we say capitalism, so that is Vaishyas. Trading, banking, dealing with money, business, that's Vaishyas. And there is another class who are neither intelligent nor martially spirited, nor endowed with the capacity for economic development, but who can simply serve others. They are called Shudras or the laborer class. So then some people may be in neither of the 3 classes, but they have that capacity to serve. And so then they are known as Shudras. So of course in Kali Yuga, there is this demarcation is not there. But based on our own nature, we just follow one kind of occupation. They are called, this system is Sanatan. It comes from time immemorial and it will continue in the same way. There is no power in the world which can stop it. Therefore, since this Sanatan Dharma is eternal, one can elevate himself to the highest standard of spiritual life by following the Vedic principles. So the Varna Sharma Dharma is called eternal because it's been prevalent in the society since time immemorial, since the beginning of creation. And it's going to continue. We can see how each of us are differently inclined. And so we may be put in these different categories of Brahmana, Shudra, Vaishya, or Kshatriya. Although there is no divisions based as such now. So, and then why is this Varna Sharma Dharma there? Because it's a stepping stone for us to come to spiritual life. Because one may say, okay, this Varna Sharma Dharma, but it's material. It's nothing to do with the soul. Yeah, but right now we are in the body and we have certain psychological nature, psychophysical nature. And so by following the regulations of the Vedas, we can live peacefully in this life, at the same time cultivate spiritual knowledge and go back home, back to Godhead. It is stated that formerly the sages followed this system, Therefore, to follow the Vedic system is to follow the standard etiquette of society. But the followers of Lord Shiva who are drunkards, who are addicted to intoxicants and sex life, who do not bathe and who smoke ganja are all against human etiquette. The conclusion is that persons who rebel against the Vedic principles are themselves the evidence that the Vedas are authoritative, because by not following the Vedic principles, they become like animals. Such animalistic persons are themselves evidence of the supremacy of the Vedic regulations. So we may say, oh, what are these Vedic regulations? I don't know. I never heard about it. I never knew this thing exists, but it is there. It's just in Kali Yuga, we are not taught the Vedic principles, but the Vedas are there and they are the authority, and we are supposed to follow the injunctions of the Vedas. Yeah, to make proper use of the human life, to help us regulate our senses so that we can understand that I'm not the body, I'm the soul, so that we can engage in devotional service, and then we can go back home, back to Godhead. Did anyone want to add anything? No, then we carry on. Vedas are the word of God. It's the word of God. So 32. Tad Brahma Paramam Shudam
Tad Brahma Paramam Shudam
Satam Vartama Sanatanam Vigharya Yata Pasandam Devam Yo Yatra Bhutara. By blaspheming the principles of the Vedas, which are the pure and supreme path of the saintly persons, certainly you followers of Bhutpati, Lord Shiva, will descend to the standard of atheism without a doubt. So Bhrigu Muni is continuing the curses to Nandishwar. Lord Shiva is described here as Bhutra, the ghosts and those who are situated in the material mode of ignorance are called Bhutas. So Bhutrat refers to the leader of the creatures who are in the lowest standard of the material modes of nature. So Lord Shiva is called the leader of the ghosts. He's very, very compassionate. He's compassionate. He wants the ghosts and the ghost-like people to become devotees. And that's the reason he gives them shelter. That is out of his compassion. Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava, Vaishnavam Yatha Shambhu. So out of his compassion, that he is giving his protection to the lowest of people. Another meaning of Bhut is anyone who has taken birth or anything which is produced. So in that sense, Lord Shiva may be accepted as the father of this material world. A Bhuta, that somebody who's born in this material world, or something that is Panchabhut, as we say, the Pancha Mahabhut, something that is created or something that is someone who's born in this material world. So Lord Shiva is also called the father of the material world. He's also called the controller of the material world. Why? Because he's the husband of Parvati Devi, right? And she's the material energy. She's Krishna's material energy. And Lord Shiva is her husband. Here, of course, Bhrigu Muni takes Lord Shiva as the leader of the lowest creatures. The characteristics of the lowest class of men have already been described. They do not bathe, they have long hair on their heads, and they are addicted to intoxicants. So, so the Vedas, they say, oh, if you are unclean in your habits, then that is a mode of ignorance. No bathing, taking intoxication, not having a clean appearance. In comparison with the path followed by the followers of Bhutara, the Vedic system is certainly excellent, for it promotes people to spiritual life as the highest eternal principle of human civilization. If one decries or blasphemes the Vedic principles, he then falls to the standard of atheism. So the Vedas are telling, the Vedas are there to gradually raise us from ignorance to passion to goodness. And then when at least we come to goodness, so that we can transcend the modes, that we can come to the platform of pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva. From ignorance, it's very difficult to become transcendental. It's difficult. And so the Vedas are telling us to have this gradual elevation of the consciousness. By studying and hearing the scriptures, by studying and hearing the Vedas, our intelligence gets purified. Our intelligence gets spiritualized. Maitreya Vachan.
One question. So is Bhrigu Muni insulting the followers of Shiva, or what? Like
he's cursing them.
Cursing them.
Yeah. He's cursing them. He's saying that, oh, you have cursed the Brahmana, because Nandishwar started cursing the Brahmanas. So
Right.
Bhrigu Muni said that you're cursing the Brahmanas, which shows that you're atheist. That it's not that you will become atheist because of my curse, but because you're not able to understand the teachings of the Vedas. So it means you're already an atheist. And so all this cursing and counter cursing is happening between Nandishwar and Bhrigu Muni.
But the Brahmanas also, like, they were smiling, right, when Daksh was, insulting
That's
Shiva.
right. That's right. Some of the Brahmanas took Daksh's side.
They're not supposed to, right?
That's right. That's right. Because Daksh was unnecessarily insulting Lord Shiva. So we can see here that how when we come under anger, we are not able to control what we do. Daksh was not able to control his anger. He started blaspheming Lord Shiva. Hearing that, Nandishwar got angry. Of course, he's right to get angry because Lord Shiva is his master. So it was no fault on his part. But then, as you rightly pointed out, some Brahmanas took the side of Daksh. So he cursed the Brahmanas also. Then the Brahmanas also come under anger. So they are now cursing. So how anger can be so destructive?
So it's not like he's the Bhrigu Muni is putting them down, like the followers of Shiva, like,
Putting them down
meaning like telling them that you'll just follow things like the wrong way, like keeping your hair long and things like that, and drinking, intoxicating.
Yeah. So he's saying that the followers of Lord Shiva are going to be doing such things. He's already predicting that these things will happen. He's cursing them that, oh, you are going to. So the people who are in this kind of modes are going to worship Lord Shiva. That's what he's saying. That people who want to do intoxication, and then they find some excuse that, oh, I am worshipping Lord Shiva, so I'm doing this. I'm following Lord Shiva. You see, everything again boils down to an individual's desire. What is our desire? Krishna makes the arrangements for us to fulfill it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Tasyevam vadata shapam.
Tasyevam vadata shapam.
Mrigosa Bhagavan Bhavaha. Nischakrama tata kinchit.
Nishchakrakama tata kinchit
Vimana eva sanugaha.
vimana iva shanuga.
The sage Maitreya said, when such cursing and counter-cursing was going on between Lord Shiva's followers and the parties of Daksh and Bhrigu, Lord Shiva became very morose. Not saying anything, he left the arena of the sacrifice, followed by his disciples. So he's become sad now, Lord Shiva, because he's a pure devotee. He does not like to hear all this blasphemy, cursing, counter-cursing. Here, Lord Shiva's excellent character is described. In spite of the cursing and counter-cursing between the parties of Daksh and Shiva, because he's the greatest Vaishnav, he was so sober that he did not say anything. Otherwise, Lord Shiva also could have gotten angry. But no, he didn't. He is very steady, very steady. He's a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is always tolerant, and Lord Shiva is considered the topmost Vaishnava. So his character, as shown in this scene, is excellent. He became morose because he knew that these people, both his men and Dakshas, were unnecessarily cursing and counter-cursing one another without any interest in spiritual life. From his point of view, he did not see anyone as lower or higher because he is a Vaishnava. So a pure devotee sees everyone equally. A pure devotee sees everyone as part and parcel of Krishna, as the spirit souls. He does not see the differences based on bodily appearance. And he's morose, he's sad. Why? Because here everyone is just talking, relating to the things about the body. Nobody is speaking about devotional service. So they're not interested to understand about Krishna. So he is sad. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 5.18, Pandita Samadarshinaha. One who is perfectly learned does not see anyone as lesser or greater because he sees everyone from the spiritual platform. Pandita Samadarshinaha, the learned sage, he sees the dog eater, the brahmana, the elephant. He sees everyone with equal vision. One who is truly learned, sama sarveshu bhuteshu, sees every living entity equally because he's not seeing the body. Because when we are saying, if we can see the dog and the dog eater equally, and also a brahmana, a gentle learned brahmana, all equal, means we are able to understand that each is the spirit soul and that the Paramatma is in the heart of every living being. This is the spiritual platform. Thus, the only alternative left to Lord Shiva was to leave in order to stop his follower Nandishwar as well as Bhrigu Muni from cursing and counter-cursing in that way.
Yeah, he proved himself, Lord Shiva. Yes, very nice.
Yes, it shows the super excellent character of Lord Shiva. Yes.
Yes.
And he's being an example for us to follow. How many of us are able to do that, though? Really follow in the footsteps of Lord Shiva, that when somebody is personally attacking, Daksha is personally attacking Lord Shiva, speaking such insulting words. And Lord Shiva is very calm, cool. He's not saying a word. In fact, he's just feeling sad for everyone. So how many of us are able to do that? Something to learn from him, to follow in his footsteps. Following in his footsteps. Should we stop here for today?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for listening and joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Stop this.